And the team behind it was just absolutely insane because everything worked as you saw it in the film. None of it was CGI. So we've worked on some really exciting cars over the years for the film industry, in which there's not a huge amount of information I can give due to NDAs and stuff we have in place, but I can be loose around it. So in the newest Robert Pattinson Batman, one of the vehicles was electric, one of the Batmobiles, which was quite crazy to think. And we were involved in it from a consultancy level alongside some amazing companies that build these absolutely stunning vehicles. And they'll build them ground up. And these are built to an OEM standard, so they are flawless, but they'll build 3 or 4 of the things. So they'll cost £1 million each plus something crazy like that. And one of the vehicles was electric because there was filming done in a fuel refinery as part of the show, but you weren't allowed internal combustion engines in certain sections of the fuel refinery. So I find it quite comical that you could suddenly have an electric vehicle driving around in sections of a fuel refinery where you couldn't have a petrol vehicle, even though it was refining fuel. So it was quite a weird thing, but that allowed us to get involved basically and be involved in this really exciting Batmobile. One was this phenomenal jump Batmobile that they did. There's this epic scene where he basically jumps out of the fire and you look in the wind mirror and there's just this Batmobile just coming out and hitting. And that thing was absolutely insane. How they built that, designed that, made that work was just absolutely crazy. I remember being on set and seeing it, and you just there in awe that there's this thing jumping like 15 foot and landing and then doing it again and again. That was a great sounding V8. But yeah, so there was one of them built as electric, which is more the hero car. It's just the one you'll actually see if you go and see them at places like Comic-Con and stuff like that. This is like the one you'll see with full interior, all the stuff done, full built hero vehicle. Would be the electric one basically. But then they also has loads of other crazy stuff on these cars, like the flames that came out everywhere and all the lighting rigs on them. So the amount of electronics, software, pyrotechnic designs that went into these things, and the team behind it was just absolutely insane because everything worked as you saw it in the film. None of it was CGI. They actually went and made all of it. Like the jump was actually real. All the fire coming out of the places was actually real. All the front louvers moving to see the lights inside, it was all done realistic. None of it was CGI. I think that's what I found massively interesting. A lot of people probably don't see that when they think of a film these days. They go, "That's also CGI." It's not CGI. They did everything on that film to make it as realistic as possible. I serviced it a couple of months ago. It's still fully working in an archive somewhere. I think it's going to be doing just out and about. They take it to shows. Like they got the tumblers, they take them to events and stuff. So yeah, they're still out and about. And I think the film industry do great things with the Batman franchise and all the other franchises where they keep hold of all the sets and all the stuff so they can take them out and allow the public to see them and enjoy them even after the films have been done. I don't know if I was a Batman fan growing up, but The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger and Christian Bale, that for me, that just made Batman. I've seen some cool stuff before that, but the two of them together, just the dynamic, how that worked, and the fact that he went from being this little skinny guy and gained all that weight so quickly for the film, it just made it so much more realistic. So that was what I think really got me to love Batman. Obviously, there's been amazing Batman before that, don't get me wrong, but that was, for me, was the moment that sort of probably got into it and decided actually it'd be great to be involved someday. A lot of the staff that we work with on these sort of films and stuff are all motorsport engineers. They're all the best of the best. They'll go out there and they will find the best people they can to be involved in these films. And that, for us, took us to a whole new level because we'd come in and, I wasn't that great at electrical stuff. I was still learning. I was still getting through. I was making it work, but it was still, one way I was bodging it at the time. But back then, I was still learning fast, failing fast, working out what we can and can't do. And then suddenly getting thrown in with all these amazing motorsport engineers. Half of them had come from like Aston Martin, from building things like the Rapide or the Valkyrie and stuff like that. And some of these engineers I'm working with, like, how am I working with these people to start with is one thing. And then the quality of their work was so good, but it meant I learned super fast what to do and what not to do, what connectors to use, how the looms should be run, why they're run that way, and then, why certain things are wired. As much as I knew about the batteries and how to make the Tesla motor work, the other bits around it were not necessarily my speciality at the time, so it made us learn extremely fast. One big benefit though with a lot of the EV stuff we did for the film industry over the years is that they'd get used for 3 months and then they'd come apart. So we could do rapid development and prototype and have no legacy work out on the road driving. So that was a massive benefit for us because it was like we're learning all this stuff every time, gets used for a couple of months, comes apart, don't have to worry about it again. They're normally crazy V8 powered, stupidly fast vehicles. They're normally very weirdly designed to handle certain situations. So you've got to put in a highly skilled stunt driver to cope with them, to do what they want. I mean, you have people like Mark Higgins we were working with, and they're both just absolutely phenomenal drivers. And Mark Higgins did the Isle of Man in the Subaru Impreza, and then you have Ben Collins as well doing loads of film stuff as well. He did loads of James Bond stuff. So there's just all these amazing drivers that they get to use in these vehicles. From what I understand is that the drivers that are using these vehicles are slowly coming around to EVs now, mainly because when they're running the big V8 stuff, there's not necessarily catalyst converters and all the other stuff. So if you're sat there waiting for a period of time to be able to go and do a stunt, you're just engulfed in fumes. And it's not great. Whereas as soon as you go to EV, there's none of that. So there's pros and cons to both of them. Sound, audio, lighting, video guys, I think are going to come around to the EV stuff because there's none of this vibration they've got to allow for. The sound quality is a lot better, a lot smoother, so they can hear stuff a lot better as well. So there's massive benefits to it. It does make the car feel like they're going to fall apart all the time though, because the engines hide so much of the rattles and the noise. So as soon as you go to EV, you hear everything. You hear all the diffs, all the whines, all the tire noise. So there's all this other noise that you don't realize is there once you've gone to EV. Especially with stunt vehicles that, they're put together and they get heavily abused, and you can hear every single little creak and knock and everything, which I'm sure are there on all the petrol ones. You just don't ever hear them.
When you get a ticket, it might look something like this, but the first thing that you need to do is take a picture of that ticket and send it to 305-305. That will get the ticket clinic on your case immediately. They've got brick and mortar offices in Georgia, Florida, and California, but they can help you find a ticket no matter where you get it in the United States by helping you find a local attorney that will do everything they can to help you avoid costly fines, insurance premium increases, points on your license, risk of suspension, even jail time. They've helped me out with this ticket and many others, and a lot of my friends as well. So check them out now at the link in the description below, or again, text your ticket to 305-305 to get the ticket clinic on your case. They are the perfect partner in your fight against any speeding ticket.